This is Optimal Living Daily Relationships, episode 96. 7 Simple Steps to Turn Enemies into Friends, part 1, by Laura and Mark Tong with goodlifezen.com. Welcome, relationship optimizers. I'm Joss Marie, your host and personal narrator right here on the Relationships edition of Optimal Living Daily. This is your one-stop podcast for all things relationships, where I narrate blog posts about dating, breakups, parenting, marriage, and much more, every Monday through Friday for free. If you enjoy our content here and listen frequently, please consider subscribing to the show. Not only will you get episodes delivered directly to you daily, but by subscribing, you will also help boost our rankings in the Apple Podcast app. So thank you in advance for all your support. Today, I'll be narrating the first part of a 2-part mini-series by Laura and Mark Tong with goodlifezen.com. So make sure and come on back tomorrow for the second part of this post. And with that, let's hear today's post as we start optimizing your life. 7 Simple Steps to Turn Enemies into Friends, part 1, by Laura and Mark Tong with goodlifezen.com. Quote, "Whenever you are confronted with an opponent, conquer him with love." Mahatma Gandhi. In frustration and anger, you ask, why? Why did that person spread lies about you behind your back, vilify you, or even mock you to your face? Surely they had no reason when you obviously never meant to antagonize them, and honestly can't even figure out what you did to provoke them. Perhaps it was someone you hardly know who seems to begrudge your very existence, or someone you can't avoid, like a work colleague who for some reason chose to hate and hinder you from day one. Perhaps it was someone you were once close to, a family member, a friend, or even a lover. Whoever it is, the hurt and anger eat you up inside, keeping you awake at night and tarnishing any connections and memories you've had with them. What's worse, all of this animosity impacts your health. Wait a moment, breathe. You can do something about this. Enemies may seem an inevitable, painful part of life, but in many cases, you can free yourself from all of this stress and sorrow. Sure, you might be thinking, why the hell should I be the one to make amends when they started it? And you might be right, but at what cost? Turning a foe into a friend isn't something you do for them as much as it is something you do for you. Enemies aren't born, they are made, even if unwittingly. And they can be unmade by following these 7 steps. Number 1, refuse to be their enemy. Quote, "A wise man thinks it's more advantageous not to join the battle than to win." François de la Rochefoucauld. First, understand that no one can make you fight. You can consciously choose not to participate in hostility, no matter what the provocation. You have the power to decline their offer of war. So whatever the situation, you can alter the dynamics in an instant by removing yourself from the fight. By doing so, you will have changed the situation from a 2-sided feud to a 1-sided non-dispute. Be proactive rather than reactive and put yourself in control. Number 2, change the label. Quote, "The best way to destroy an enemy is to make him a friend, and the best way to make someone a friend is to give them that accolade in your mind." Abraham Lincoln. Scrub the label enemy from your mind and swap it for friend. Just as no one can force you to fight, no one can force you to label someone as a foe. Sure, that's going to take some seriously strong resolve and oodles of character. So cut yourself some slack at this stage if it takes a while, because this is a big shift in outlook. The payoff is the way this radical shift allows you to interpret their words and actions in a new, less hostile light. Moving forward, your new perception will translate not only into how you think, but crucially, how you act toward them. By deciding that the person is already your friend, 50% of the partnership is now already in place. Number 3, see yourself in them. Quote, "When you show deep empathy toward others, their defensive energy goes down and positive energy replaces it. That's when you can get more creative in solving problems." Stephen Covey. Animosity begets animosity. You can't hate your enemy into a friend. However, it's hard to think of someone as a friend if you imagine they personally wish you harm, hate you, or want to hinder your progress. But if you can look objectively at their actions and words, you'll likely see how these spring from their own inner torment. Your antagonist is human, just like you, and has a bundle of fears, worries, and failings, even feelings of shame and insignificance. They're really not in a good place right now, and they're taking it out on you. We all do this from time to time. Empathizing allows you to not take these attacks personally. Realize that they're not fighting you, they're fighting their inner demons, and this is when they need your support the most. Be the best friend they can have. Show them compassion and empathize with their personal battles. Your support will be a powerful message that you genuinely wish to be friends, not foes. Number 4. Hear that in tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled 7 Simple Steps to Turn Enemies into Friends by Laura and Mark Tong with goodlifezen.com. Laura and Mark love people, pizza, and positivity. It's their mission to help people declutter their mind and overall lives. While this is actually our first time sharing Laura and Mark Tong's content with you here on this show, we do feature authors with goodlifezen.com pretty frequently. So please consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more from goodlifezen.com in the future. As a subscriber, not only will you get our episodes delivered directly to you daily, but, as I mentioned briefly earlier, you will also help boost our rankings in the Apple Podcast app. This means a lot to our team here at Optimal Living Daily, as you are the reason we can continue growing the show. So thank you so much in advance for subscribing. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again tomorrow for part 2 of this post, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode. And head to oldpodcast.com, that's OLDpodcast.com, for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.